You know what? I did not. I never got that opportunity, so I think the players filled it up pretty good, though. I know the president did, so that was good. Yes, he did. I saw him do that, so in the locker room. So, but pretty special win for sure.
Coach, you guys looked like you played a lot of three-man front.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just something you saw from Michigan State, or was it your personnel reasons?
I think a combination. You know, just trying to grow what we're going to do schematically. I think that trying to take advantage of what our strengths are and trying to create pressure, you know, and do it from a scheme standpoint. So I think that we obviously are going to, whatever we feel like on film we have to do to be able to create that, we will, and it may look a little bit different every single week, and we'll adjust and have a good plan. But that's pretty much a combination of both.
Marcus and Tigray, and
Mm-hmm.
he thinks that they've just got a lot more confidence, I guess. What have they meant to you as you talk particularly about sort of evolving that defense as the year goes on?
Yeah.
What have those two guys in particular maybe meant to you this first season?
Yeah, I think a lot. You know, I'm a linebacker myself as a player, as a coach that position. Most of the places I've been, that in the secondary, and really have a real passion about that position, being the leaders of the defense, taking ownership of it, just verbally, physically, you know, talking about being a leader, being a productive guy. Those are the kind of two things, and they've embraced that. You know, and I never had a great defense where we didn't have really good linebackers, and both of those guys, they're really quality people, first of all, which is fun to be with every day. But they both are extremely bought in from the very beginning, and that's a tribute to them. And they're wanting to get this right and get things fixed. And so, yeah, they've really been guys I've leaned on. You know, I pull them aside, I meet with them, I talk to them, and rely on them to help me understand the pulse of the defense as a unit. And obviously, as their confidence has grown, understanding the scheme and their checks and adjustments, it's allowed them to play faster, play better, and be the productive players that I thought they would be from the beginning. So they've been a huge part of this, and will continue to be moving forward.
Talk to you guys about, you know, you guys have played a very solid game, but you're not able to stop the last drive of regulation, but then you guys help win the game in overtime.
That's right.
What did you say in between end of regulation and OT to your guys?
Well, you know, we really was disappointed that we didn't finish the game. You know, especially you can talk about several different, you know, situations that we didn't come up with the stop, but the final one on 4th and 2, you know, it just felt like we had the timeout. We had a pretty good idea what we thought they were going to do. Had it all squared away. Felt great about it. They did what we thought they were going to do, and our guy falls down. You know, and I just couldn't believe it. So, but at the same time, you know, done this a long time, so we had to flush that. Get him on the sideline. Knew we were heading to overtime, and didn't know if we were going to have to go out right away or not. You never know until they flip the coin. But I was a little concerned. I'm not going to sit here and act like I wasn't, because anytime that happens, you could look at the two benches. They were jumping up and down, you know, because they had just gotten new life because they had come from behind on that drive. And our guys were kind of hanging their heads a little bit. So, man, I just got into them in a positive way and just tried to breathe life and confidence and fight and grit and just draw it out of them. And so they responded, you know, and they took the field. And, man, it was just 3 plays in a row that were just absolutely the way you got to finish.
Doherty makes the play, and then Hoff gets held and still makes
Yeah. Well, first of all, you know, they'd had a certain personnel package that they got into on first down. That we had a couple calls we liked against that, and we used those, and it worked great. And Tony Fields made a great open field tackle, so it just set the tone right away. You want to get it. We talked about in that, we said, hey, we got to win this series, and you win the series by winning first down. That was our first focus. You win first down. And then, so we make a great play there by Tony. And then we get into a situation where we bring some pressure, and Pat Doherty makes an awesome play, just a one-on-one. We bring pressure inside. He comes clean. He gets a big-time sack. And that's a guy that, you know, couldn't be happier for him, because he's just a blue-collar, does everything you ask him to do, awesome attitude. Effort is never an issue with him. He brings it every single day, and he was rewarded with a very, very timely and big-time sack for us. And then get the third down, and we'd work some things that we felt like, you know, we had an opportunity per that situation to get some pressure on the quarterback as well as play the coverage we want. And then you got a guy like Hoff who, you know, he grabbed me after the game and he said, "I told you I could rush the passer," and because we take him out most of the times on third downs, you know, and so, but he was so fired up. But it was just he just willed himself to make the play. Like you said, he got held. Going against we thought their best lineman, one-on-one, and he won the one-on-one at the most critical point in the game. And so just couldn't be happier and he's another guy, and I could mention several that from the very beginning since I've been here, just by the look in his eye, the buy-in has been strong, and the want to and the care factor is high with him, and he works hard every day and does everything I ask him to do. And so to see those kind of guys rewarded on a big stage and a big game for us was pretty cool, and I was happy for them. And obviously that was big, and get them to that long field goal, and then we know what happened after that.
I've heard the term juggernaut of Ohio State, and I don't think that's inappropriate necessarily. You know, what do you see?
Really good football team, you know, and I've been fortunate to be able to see several up close and personal the last several years. And, you know, they have great team speed, and they have an excellent quarterback, as good as you're going to find in this country. And, you know, we recruited him when I was at Ole Miss, and I was the one recruiting him, and got to know him, and just a quality person, too, as well as being a really good player. So got a lot of respect for him. You know, anytime you got a guy that can throw it and run it with very, very great effectiveness, it always puts pressure on the defense, and he's big. You know, so he's obviously he makes them go.
As I said, you know, with the team, they obviously were going to be very talented but very young.
Mm-hmm.
Having an experienced quarterback.
Yeah,
like him
if they were young, you know, across the board at the quarterback position too, I think you'd see a little difference. But having an experienced quarterback and young everywhere around him, you know, it's allowed for it to be still obviously a very, very good product. And they've played some good teams, and so yeah, we're gonna have to be able to be extremely sound and do a great job. You know, we'll have a great plan. The kids are going to believe in it. They're going to play their tails off for 60 minutes, but obviously a tremendous challenge for us as a defense, and both in scheme, in talent, and in environment. You know, so but as I told our guys today, this excites me. It's a great opportunity that you get a chance to go there and you know, prove a bunch of people wrong. Well, you know, I don't have a striped shirt on, so I can't affect the calls. I thought that Fant made a great play, you know. So, but the bottom line is just with takeaways. Sometimes the ball bounces your way, and sometimes it doesn't. You know, to me, those were errors of aggression, and they happen. And we want to press the issue. If you notice, we don't. You know, we play a very aggressive, you know, style, and you know, you're going to have that sometimes. And so, but it is frustrating because you want them and you know how big they are, and we just got to keep doing what we're doing. The ball's coming out. We're getting the ball out. We got to make sure we come up with it. We can't negate it with our own penalties. And when the ball's in the air and we get those picks, we want to make sure we get them. You know, so but we keep, you know, making it a priority, and that's never going to change. You know, I think that the kids' effort, the toughness and the effort has been encouraging, you know, for me. I still think we make too many mistakes, and, you know, we obviously gave up one real long pass play that was a mistake on our part, and the other one was not the exact same mistake, but it was a blown coverage, and just can't do that. You know, we can't give those. We worked too hard to get the stops. You know, we were really, really good on third downs, which I thought was probably the difference in the game, in addition to the overtime play. But those were big time for us. Both the way we played defensively and the way our offense played offensively in those situations was really key for the change in the fourth quarter and allowing us to take the lead. So, but to me, you got to continue to emphasize those things. You know, so to me, everything we've said from the beginning hadn't changed. You know, we're going to be emphasizing takeaways. We did a great job in the beginning. We got to continue to get more of those. Haven't been happy with those last couple of games. And then our tackling has continued to improve, although in the fourth quarter we got a little fatigue, missed some tackles. So it's about finishing still. So I still don't see us I want to see us create more depth. You know, I want us to be able to continue to play more guys for more reps that allow us to be more, you know, fresh in the fourth quarter. and be able to do a better job there. So that'd be my assessment, that I feel like the things that we can control, I've been pleased with. You know, the things that we guys continue to work at in terms of execution and being able to adjust the scheme, you know, on the field, that takes time. You know, it's the leadership part, it's the reps, it's guys feeling comfortable in the defense. Those things are continuing to develop, but obviously not where we need to be. But I think you see continued growth as opponents get better each week. You know, we've got to continue to make that advancement, and I see that. So I'm proud of our guys' effort and their toughness.
You talked about that, a couple of guys, you know, that really are surfacing. Ashawn Riggins, freshman corner, and then Chris Covington, the quarterback, all of a sudden linebacker really showed. Talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, I think you know, Ashawn to me is a guy that I've mentioned a few times earlier, and continued to be impressed by him. He played extremely well, and he's a guy that has the skill set, has the length, but once again, great kid. You know, cares, has tremendous eye contact when you talk to him. He listens, he responds, and that's what you want. You know, but he has the skills, the athleticism, and the ability to cover guys that you know, a lot of guys don't with his length. You know, so very, very encouraged by his development, and he needs to keep progressing. And then, you know, Chris Covington's a guy that I really hoped would just rise up. We need guys like him to rise up and play well, to give Marcus, you know, because obviously when we play in our Husky package, he'll be our Mike backer, and then we go to our base package, he plays an outside linebacker for us and did a tremendous job, helps us on special teams, has done a great job. It's the special teams player of the game, you know, this past week. So, and that's what I challenge the linebackers to do. I mean, they should be all over. Those guys that aren't starters, they should be all over special teams. If I'm a linebacker, if I'm a safety, even some of our corners. And so he's accepted that challenge, and he needs to continue to develop. And for him, it was even just learning defense. Sometimes when you're a 2 or a 3, you don't get as many reps as the ones might at times, and so he has to really study film. He comes in extra, and you know, Coach Inge has done a great job with him and getting him to be able to know what he's doing. You know, so really encouraged by Chris, and we need to continue to have him make plays. Yeah, I think, you know, anytime you see this much speed, you know, you want to keep it leveraged. You know, you don't want to see it out in space. You know, obviously that's where they'll be able to take advantage of you. And schematically, they do a great job of making that hard. You know, they really do. And, you know, their whole offensive staff is, you know, excellent. You know, first class and how they prepare and how the conflicts that they put you in defensively. You know, so they're going to get those guys in situations where they'll put our perimeter guys in run-pass conflict in this style of offense, and also by having the quarterback as a runner, that creates an extra guy that you got to account for that in some offenses you don't. You know, so I think that anytime you got that much speed, you know, it makes you nervous, you know, because speed is a tough thing. That's why everybody wants it, you know. So I think that, you know, Coach Meyer, no matter where he's been, he builds it like this, you know. And so I think that he's got a bunch of guys, and they kind of rotate them in too. It's really kind of almost, there's so many of them, you just kind of, you know, it's whoever's in that spot. You know, we talk about our guys recognizing pictures, you know, because it doesn't really matter who's in that position. It's just where that position's lined up. And so we don't make a big deal too much about individual guys other than the quarterback. And we just got to be able to, you know, keep that speed contained and keep it hemmed in so we can get a bunch of guys to the football and get that speed on the ground.